Okay. You guys can hear me well, right? Can you confirm me one more time, please?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So today we'll be learning how to give a KT with a half-done presentation. Because I have not completed your presentation, it is half done. So my primary intention for this session is to let you guys know about something called a topic in Kafka. We're going to be learning more about the topic today. So let's just start from the basic one more time. And I'm going to be asking you about a few terms that we might have discussed previously. Okay. So the first question is going to be, what is a broker? Or what do you understand about a Kafka broker? Anyone? Your thought and your understanding so far about a broker? Message broker? Anyone? What do you mean by a broker? Yeah, it's a node. Okay. Any other answer?
It's a server, Avilash.
It's a server. Okay, great. Great. Yes. So the message broker is just goes like this. So basically, if you see, we have a producer and we have a consumer. Both of these are one application. Whatever application coming into your mind, think about it, right? It's a producer is an application, consumer is an application. They both need to communicate, but they cannot communicate directly. Let's say if the producer job is to create a message and push it to the consumer, then it cannot do directly that thing, right? And for that, we need a broker. Just understand the term broker. Think in plain English, like a land broker we have, something like that, right? We have a producer and a consumer. Between that, we have something called a Kafka broker. And it's nothing but a server, okay? A server where Kafka is installed. So the producer can, give the message to the broker, and the consumer basically works in a poll mechanism. Remember that the Kafka, in the Kafka is basically works with a poll mechanism, not a push mechanism. RabbitMQ basically works with a push mechanism, but here the consumer will keep on polling the data from the broker, okay? Okay, the producer and consumer does not communicate directly. They communicate through a broker. Just remember this much, and this is the takeaway from the slide. Okay, then what is a Kafka cluster? Okay, when it comes to cluster, okay, anyone like hearing this term cluster, what do you have in your mind right now? What do you mean by a Kafka cluster? Or the cluster in a normal, you all are developers, right? You are working in microservices environment. So can you just tell me, what do you mean by a cluster? Anyone?
We can think of a group of node or server.
Exactly. We can think of a group of node or a group of server. And I'm taking the term group of server. It just looks something like this. You're going to be having a group of servers, okay, where your Kafka broker has been installed, right? This looks something like this. This is what we mean by a Kafka cluster. So a group of servers. Second thing, each server runs an instance of a Kafka broker. In every broker, you have installed Kafka, right? So like you have 2, 3, 4, 5 servers, and all these servers has been grouped together. And also inside all these servers, we have Kafka installed. So what is the benefit of this kind of a cluster architecture? Anyone?
Distribute the load.
Exactly, to distribute the load. So any microservices environment, if you guys have worked with, is the same concept. If you have a group of computer, imagine one computer stops working, right? Then the other two computers are there to take the request. Imagine there is a producer which will be keep on pushing the data to this cluster. Inside this cluster, if one server goes down, doesn't matter. The producer can keep on pushing the data to this server and to this server, right? But imagine if you have only one server where you're going to be pushing your data. In that case, it will be a problematic situation if one server will go down and you have only that server exist inside your cluster. Then that's going to be a problem. So in a real-time scenario, you're going to be having multiple servers like this, where your Kafka will be installed in your all the computer, and you're going to be keep on pushing the data or keep on streaming the data into different servers. Okay. Cool. Now, what is a Kafka topic? Whatever the understanding we have so far from the last couple of sessions, anyone can give me a definition of a topic, like your understanding? Yes, please. What is a Kafka topic, guys?
It's a subset of like Kafka server where the producer will push the data to a particular topic.
Perfect. Pushing the data. We are so basically whenever the producer is producing the data to a Kafka broker, the broker does not directly store the data. Inside the broker, we have something called topic. Okay. So it's just like this. You have your computer, you have installed Kafka inside it. And here inside that we have a storage space. And this is what we call a topic. I have given a name to the topic called topic A. Now we're going to be having a producer which will be keep on pushing the messages to the topic like this. Okay. And all the data will be stored inside the topic right here. Now understand this much. Inside the topic, we do not directly store the data. The data is exactly going to something called partitions. So every topic has partitions, something like this. Let's say, okay, maybe I'm going to be introducing you like what do you mean by partitions? Okay, think about a scenario. You have a topic called current location. Imagine you have your Kafka broker installed in your computer. And right now you have a topic. What kind of topic is this? Let's say this is a topic you have created where you want to store data. Like what kind of data? Imagine this producer is some trains. Let's say all train will share their live location. See, sending location in each 30 seconds. Imagine there are a lot of trains going on, and once they move, right? Let's say once they move to one destination to another destination, after each 30 seconds, they will be keep on streaming their live location and keep on pushing the live location to this particular topic, which is called the current location topic. Okay, imagine it's a table like thing you have in your database, which table name is current location, and you keep on storing the data inside the table. Think something like that. But the problem is, imagine right now we have, let's say this is one train. This producer is a train. Let's say train number 101. If you have many trains in real time, right? Many trains, let's say trains from Bhubaneswar to Bangalore, trains from Pune to Mumbai, trains from Delhi to, let's say, some other place. Let's say all those trains, when they are moving, they will be keep on streaming their data, their live location to this topic. Now, if you have a topic inside one broker, then if all the trains keep on pushing the data to the same topic, then obviously there will be a storage issue, isn't it? Imagine in each 30 seconds, all the trains that is moving, they are streaming data to this topic and giving their current location. Then don't you think we'll be run out of memory in some point of time? And that is going to create some storage issue. And for that, what we can have different partitions for the same topic, something like this. So partition is nothing but the place where the data will be exactly stored, and it is a sub-unit of the topic called current location. Let's say here we have 4 partitions, and it will look something like this. This is the partition 0 for the topic current location. This is the partition 1 of the current location topic. This is the partition 2 of the current location topic. And this is the partition 3 in the current location topic. So now, so we are going to actually store the data inside the partition. And here we have 4 partition, and we'll be keep on streaming the data. But you might have the same question, right? Okay, Vilas, right now we have 4 partition for the topic. I understand that the topic will not be storing the data directly, rather we'll be storing the data inside the partition. Now the question is, you said like, okay, I might have a storage issue, so I'll be creating multiple partition, but all this partition you are creating inside the same Kafka server. So how does it is going to protect me from the server issue? So partition is a real-time solution for multi-node servers, something like this. Okay, so in real time, you're going to be having a Kafka cluster. You'll like have many servers, right? So you will have one partition here, one partition here, one partition here, one partition here. So you have the same topic called current location. You have 4 partition, which goes into 4 different server. Now we can have a producer, and it is going to keep on, maybe we can have many producer also. I have only one producer. Imagine this is one train. Like that, you might have hundreds of train, and they all can push data to this cluster. Maybe here some data will go to partition 0, some data will go to partition 1, some data will go to partition 2, some data will go to partition 3. And all this data, all this partition exists inside different server. So we will not have any storage problem. Okay, maybe this is a little bit of overwhelming, like Abhilash, I understand. Okay, topic where we store data. Now we are talking about inside the topic we have partition. Can you just show me how it is? Okay, let me just show you that thing. Then we will understand some more theoretical things right here. Okay, so but this thing is giving you a little bit of understanding. I know if you're hearing Kafka for the first time, this might be confusing a little bit, but little bit you understand, guys.
Flash one doubt.
Okay.
So do you mean you have 4 brokers in the Kafka cluster? Like 4 brokers are there?
Yes, we might have 4 brokers. I'm going to be showing you that scenario, Akhil. Maybe let's just directly go to let me just do it practical so that it will make more sense. Okay, then I'll again ask you the same question whether you are clear or not. Okay, so for an example, right now I have a computer, right? One computer only. So I have installed Kafka here, right? One broker I have, right? Right now I have this scenario. I have this thing. I have a Kafka broker. Okay, here I have a Kafka broker installed in my computer. Now let me create a topic and let me create some partitions like this. Obviously, this is a different scenario where I have multiple servers. But now let me just execute, even though it will not solve any storage issue, but let's first understand how to create partition and how basically the topic and partitions looks like. Okay, so now I have my computer where Kafka installed, right? Let me just run my Kafka. Okay, so few things. Okay, now I'll just go a little bit detailing right here. Okay, so how can we start Kafka, guys? How can we start Kafka? Anybody remember?
Start.
Okay, how can we start Kafka? We have the Kafka binary, and here what we have to run Kafka right now. To run Kafka, we have the Kafka, Kafka server start command, right? So we have to execute this command, right? So let me just do this. I can just do Kafka server start. Okay, let me first start the server. I'll show you a few things. Everyone, make sure that you are on mute. And once I start the Kafka server, the way I can start the Kafka server, I can write this command and I have to give the config file. Okay, so the config file is here inside this one. I'll go to the KRaft folder and I will have this server.properties. I have to pass it inside the argument, right? Then I can start my Kafka. Okay, now let's just do an enter. Okay, now knowingly I have done something so that I'm getting this error and I'm not able to start my Kafka. Can you just tell me what exception it is throwing? Now when I'm trying to start my Kafka server, I have a problem. Now there is some exception. Can you just read the exception the Kafka is throwing over here? Anyone, if you understand something from this exception, any specific exception you are able to track? Yes.
You need to start the zookeeper.
I need to start the zookeeper, but I can start the Kafka server directly without the zookeeper also using the KRaft mode. So I'm using this server.properties from the KRaft folder. So without zookeeper, I can start my Kafka. But why do I need to? Why do you think, Felix? I need to start the zookeeper first. Then I need to start Kafka. What zookeeper does?
It stores the logs.
It stores data, right? So can you see something? Okay, anybody can track the exact specific exception we are having over here? I don't want to highlight anything. Anyone? Rakesh?
Meta.properties file.
Yes.
Meta.properties file not found.
Exactly. Meta.properties is not found. Okay. So what is exactly happening over here? Guys, understand this. See, whenever we are starting our Kafka server right here, we are passing this server.properties file, right? And as Felix said, when we start Kafka, then once we start Kafka server, we'll be creating the topics, we'll be creating the partitions, and all this data will be stored somewhere, right? So that thing can be stored inside the zookeeper, but I'm not running zookeeper. So Kafka is creating some kind of folder where it is going to store this data. Now, what is the exact place it is storing the data? If I'll open this server.properties file in the text edit, you can see there should be something. I'll show you the exact location here in the server properties. Look at this command +++. Look at this log.dir, right? And it is specified as temp KRaft combined logs. So this is the place Kafka is going to store all its data. So right now, maybe most of the time you're going to be getting this kind of error whenever you are practicing. If you are getting this kind of error, that does mean that if you go to the temp folder, right here, go to the folder, which is the temp folder in your machine. Here you have the KRaft combined logs, right? Right here, this folder. But inside this folder, there is no data, right? So here only Kafka need to store the data, and Kafka is going to create this folder. So even if you're going to be deleting this particular folder, so I just deleted that data inside that particular folder to show you this exception. So I have deleted that particular folder. So whenever you're going to be running this command, so that folder need to be created over here inside the temp folder, because the same thing has been mentioned inside the server.properties file, and inside that folder I will be storing my data. But I'm not able to I'm not able to run the Kafka command because the meta.properties file is not present inside this particular folder, right? So if I'll come over here, you can see that folder only I have deleted. So how can I create that? I have already told you, right? You can use that Kafka storage command, right? I told you no previously. So use this Kafka storage.sh command and just pass just generate some ID, maybe random UUID. It is going, okay, what is that? Random, one second, Kafka storage dot, one second, it is Kafka storage.sh, and I need to create a random UUID and paste it over here. Random UUID. This is going to create an ID something like this. Then this using this ID, you have to format a space. This is like, I'll tell you what is the importance of this ID. But once I do this, do we have anything over here? Nothing. Okay, so can I run this command right now? Kafka storage sh. Now I'm going to be formatting the ID that I have generated. Now copy this ID. Now go here and give the server.properties, the KRaft server.properties complete path using the -c, which stands for config, and then give that particular ID. Now this ID I'll be replacing the one that I have generated. Okay, right here. I will be having a /-t, and then I'll be giving that ID that I have generated over here. Now if I'll do a enter, okay, cluster ID is starting, does not appear to be a valid, last unit does not have, okay, have I copy this and go here? I think I have not copied it, fine. Now give your UUID over here. Okay, do I enter? Okay, now you can see that that particular folder is formatted. Okay, now I should be getting that folder right here, KRaft combined logs, and there is a meta.properties file, right? Now this file has been created. Now let me just clear it and run my Kafka, right? So I can run my Kafka server using this command, Kafka server start, and I can give my server.properties file. Now the Kafka will start. Okay, when the Kafka will start, it will keep on logging different information right over here inside this particular logs file. Okay, now we'll be seeing how the partition and topics are looking like, right? Now let me just, okay, let me have this terminal run. Okay, my Kafka will store all its log and information inside this combined KRaft combined logs. So I will be creating a new window right here. And now let me create a topic where I'll be storing my data. Okay, so I will be using Kafka topics command, Kafka topics .sh. Okay, now let's say whenever you are okay, first of all, let me just connect to Bootstrap server. My server is running in port number localhost 9092. And now I'll be creating a topic. Let's say I'm going to create a topic, and the topic name is, let's say, test. Okay, whenever I create this topic, okay, topic is created. See, now we have one topic created. Okay, inside this you will have log file, and this is where the data will be written, right? Whenever you will be writing the data, I'll be telling you how the data will be written to this particular topic. But there is one thing. Whenever you created that topic, what is the default partition that we have inside the topic? That information is also be there inside the server.properties file. So by default, whenever you are creating this topic, only one partition is getting created because you have not defined any partition information for this test topic. That's why there is only test 0. There is one topic with one partition called test 0. Let me create another topic. Let's say test 2. And here I'll be giving some partition information. I'm going to say partition or partitions. I think partitions 3. Let's say 3 partitions I want to create. See, I have created a topic with partition 3. Now, if you want to go, if you'll be going to your log right now, you're going to see the 3 partitions for test 2 topic that we have created. Okay, the partition 1, partition 2, partition 3. Now, we will be streaming data to the topic. Some data will go to this partition, some data will go to this partition, some data will go to this partition. Okay, so whenever we'll be producing the data right now, the data will go to each of these partitions that we have like this. Okay, so can we test it? Okay, first of all, let me just show you like how to describe that particular topic. Let's say we have this particular topic, right? Maybe first thing I'm going to do, I'll copy all these commands, right? So I don't have to retype it again and again. Let me copy it to my sticky like this. This is to create a topic. Okay, and I have this command. Okay, now I will be doing what? Let me describe this topic. Let me just do copy. Okay, paste it. Now this topic that we have created called I don't want to create a topic. The topic that I have created, the topic name is test 2, right? Now this test 2 topic, if I want to describe, I can just write describe over here. Now it is going to give some details about that topic called test 2 that I have created over here. So as you can see, I already have 3 topics, 3 partitions, partition 1, partition 2 and partition 3. And this is the thing that you have: topic test 2, partition 0, topic test 2, partition 1, topic test 2, partition 2. Now all the partition exists inside one server only. You guys know about this. There are some more information called leader, replicas and ISA. I'm going to be coming back to these 3 things. What does it means? But partition means, you understand, like these are some, this is one independent portion of the topic. Okay, the topic will not store the data directly. The data will go, some data will go to this partition, some data will go to this partition, some data will go to this partition. Okay, let's just see how it goes, right? Let me just do one thing. I will also copy this command. I'll give you guys this command directly, so you don't have to worry about all this thing. Now let me just do clear it. Okay, I have a topic called test 2. I want to stream data, push data to each partition. Okay, so let's see, and that I don't have to do. Kafka will do it by default, right? Now we have created 3 partitions so that we can keep on pushing the data into different partition, and the consumer will keep on pulling the data from different partition. Now let's just see, like how can we do that? You know that to push the data to a topic, we need something. We cannot push the data directly to the topic. We need one thing to push the data to the topic. What is that thing? Anyone? What we need to push the data into the topic? What thing we need? Who can push the data to the topic? Producer, right? Producer, exactly. Let's say console. What is that? How to create a producer? Kafka console producer, I feel. Kafka console producer.sh. And then I have to use Bootstrap server 1992, and the topic I'll be connecting is test 2. Let me copy till here, Control C, and paste it. Okay, now I'll be pushing the data to this topic. Okay, let's just see. Let me just do enter right now. Not found. Kafka console producer. Spelling.
I think it will be consumer.
Console spelling is.
Yes, console. Yeah, so now I'll be keep on pushing the data to the to the topic. Now let's say I'm pushing some data 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Then all this data should go to different portion or different partition for the topic called test 2. That means theoretically, if I have told you everything rightly, then all the data should go to Okay, right here. So some data will go to this folder, some data will go to this folder, some data will go to this folder, right? This folder means exactly to where. Inside this log file, it will be written. We'll be coming back to that, right? The data will be written to that. Okay, but now how can we be sure like the data is going to each of this test 0? Forget about this. This is the previous topic that we have created. Remove it. This is the 3 partitions that we have for the test 2 topic, right? So let's just see like whether we have streamed the data to different partitions that we have. So let me do one thing. Let me just open another window right here, and let me consume the data. Okay, to consume the data, I'll be writing a console, Kafka console consumer, right? Kafka console and consumer, right? And this one I'll be writing, and I will be doing what .sh, and I'll be connecting to the same server and the same topic test. Paste it. Do a enter. If I'll do a enter, nothing will happen because it will only fetch the real-time data. Now, if I'm gonna write anything, it will be keep on consuming. If I'm gonna writing let's say 8. It will be consuming 8. If I'll be writing 9, it will be writing 9. It will be consuming 9. But why it is not consuming? Because 1 second. I should be consuming from test 2, not test. Let's just do Control C, terminate this, run the same command with the topic test 2, and let's say I'm writing 10 here. 1 second. Do a enter. Am I able to consume? Yes, 10, right? If I'm writing 11, 12, 13, all the data is getting consumed. Like we are consuming the data real time. But how can, and you guys know, like right now we are only consuming the real time data. If I want, sorry, I have terminated the producer. Let me just start it again. Okay, now if I'm gonna terminate this consumer, okay, and if I want to consume everything from the beginning, I can write this command called from beginning, right? I told you that already, right? This is going to consume all the data from the beginning only, from the test 2 topic, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Right now you are getting all the data in an order, right? Okay, let's just see. Now whenever we are consuming the data, I just want to see like from which partition I'm consuming the data. I know I'm consuming the data from the test 2 topic, and I'm consuming it from the beginning. I also want to see from what partition I'm consuming the data. Okay, let's just see that. So to see that, maybe I just want to see the documentation. So I will see the documentation of console consumer once. So I will come over here, Kafka console consumer, copy this guy, paste it over here, do + once. Okay, let's just do enter. See, this is the documentation of the Kafka console consumer. There is some, we are using this property called from beginning right over here, isn't it? One of the property we are using here. Now I want to pass in some property. Now see, there is, you can also pass in some property for the consumer like this. For an example, you can pass in some properties like print partition true. If you are passing this property, it is going to print the partition details. Let's just see. I'll copy this property thing. Let me just terminate this consumer, and let me just start a new consumer. And now I'll be just setting up some property details over here. Okay, like this. Property, I'll be specifying, and one property I'll print. By default, this print partition is false. Let me just print it. Control C it and paste it. Okay, now see, I am writing a Kafka console consumer, connecting to the 1992 server where my Kafka broker is running. I'm connecting to the topic called test2, and I'm setting up one property called print partition true. Okay, print partition true. Okay, that means I want to also print the partition thing, and also let's say I want to print the value as well. Let me just copy print value equal to true. Print value in the sense, I'll be telling you what do you mean by this. Value means all these things are value, right? So I want to print all these things right now. Let me just pass one more property like this. Let me just expand it a little bit. Yeah, so print partition true, and I want to specify one more property. Property spelling is correct, right? Property, yeah, and print value equal to true, like this. Okay, so I have defined two property right now: print the partition information and print the value information. Two property I am specifying whenever I am calling the Kafka console consumer, right? And also I want to read the data from the beginning. Do a enter right now. It is going to read all the values. Let's just see. Yeah, see, it is reading all the values 1, 2, 3, 4, blah 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 blah. But it is reading the value from the partition 1. That means all our data that we are pushing right now, all this data are going to partition 1 only, right? So now all the data that I have pushed to my topic right here using this producer right now, here using this Kafka console producer, all the data that I have pushed to the topic called test2 has ended up in partition 1. Okay, so in my computer Kafka craft combine logs, if I'll go to which one, partition 1, test2 partition 1, this one, right? This one will only this one inside this log file, all this data has been written, right? And from there only the Kafka console the consumer is basically consuming the data. But what I told you that if I'm going to go to the keynote, so whenever you are streaming the data, right, whenever the producer is producing the data, let's just think about this example, right? If I have, one second, Control C, let me go here. Okay, if I am pushing a data from a producer, some message will ended up here. Okay, if I am pushing a data from here, some message will ended up here. If I am pushing the data from the producer, some message will be ended up here, and maybe some message will be, so maybe you're going to be having multiple messages splitted across different partitions, right? Right now, whatever the data that I have pushed here ended up in one partition only, partition 1, right? So how can you trust me? See guys, whenever you are producing data to the topic called test2, by default Kafka is using a partitioner, okay, and that is a sticky partitioner. I'll be coming back to that. So the logic the Kafka is following, it will keep on streaming all the data to a specific partition up to some limit of data has been reached. For an example, 14 kilobyte. So 14 kilobyte of data it will be keep on transferring to the partition 1, and once this is done, this will be switch it to the partition 2, then it will switch it to the partition 1, something like this. Let's say I'm going to be showing you an example. So right now this situation to stream the data to partition 2 or partition 0 it will be difficult for me, because for that I have to do some configuration, then the data will be ended up in partition 0 after that. Right now the data will be keep on going to the partition 1 till 12 KB or 14 KB of data has been reached. Then the data will be keep on going to the partition 1, then partition 0, then the partition 2, something like that. But let's say right now I'll be just following another way to make you the things understand. Let me just clear everything. Okay, okay, one second. I will terminate everything, clear everything. I'll be creating a Kafka producer which will be producing the data to the test2 server. But now I'll be using a property, okay, to stream the data to different partitions. Just to show you, I can send data to different partition. By default, previously Kafka used to use this policy, which is called a round robin policy by default. Right now the internal implementation has been changed so that the Kafka is keep on pushing the data to a specific partition for some specific time, or for until it's reached some specific KB of data, then it is switching to a different partition. But right now let me use another property. Let me tell you how. One second. If I'll go to my terminal, I'll just create another terminal. One second, just to see some documentation. Just right here. One second. Command plus plus plus. Okay. Let's say I want to see the documentation for this. Control C. And where is that guy? Right here. Okay. Kafka console producer. Okay, look at that. This is the documentation for your producer console. Here I should be having some producer property. I can either use the producer property or the property to produce some data. Let me just use this producer property to set a property. While I will be writing a producer and sending data to the topic test2, I'll be setting a producer property, and I don't remember that property name. Let me just see the Kafka doc, right? I will be setting a partitioner class. So basically guys, I'll tell you one thing. Let's say I'm sending one data using producer, Vilas. Okay. Now this is my producer. The producer internally uses a partitioner. Okay. And this partitioner will store the data inside the partition. Imagine we have the test topic. We have 3 partition, right? So OB will go to one partition like this. Let's say we are sending the data to the using producer. Let's say Anil, this message we want to send. This data will be sent using a partitioner, and the partitioner will decide where this data will go. Right? Let's say it is going to this partition. Okay. Now we are sending the data Sonu. Now Sonu will be sent to the partitioner. The partitioner can send the data over here. Now if I'll send the data Srini to the partitioner, it can send the data over here. Okay. So something like this can be done. Okay. Which is like there will be different types of partitioner we can use. Or something, there is something called a round robin partitioner. Whenever you are going to be sending the data to the producer don't send the data directly to the broker. It uses a partitioner. We can use a round robin partitioner. So that partitioner will first send the data to one topic. Then the partitioner will send the data to another topic. Then the partitioner will send the data to another topic. Then the partitioner will send the data to another topic. Like that, in a round robin way, it can send data to different topic. Right now, what is happening by default? By default, the scenario that I have shown you, it is happening like this. Now, whenever you are sending the data, the partitioner is sending the data to this topic. Let's say this is topic 0. Then this topic again. Then this topic again. Then this topic again. Like that, it will be keep on streaming the data till there will be 12 KB of data or 14 KB of data has been streamed to that partition. Then only it is going to choose a next partition. For an example, think like that. This is happening by default. Now what I want to do, I want to send the data to each partition like this. Okay, so that I can show you the data are going to each partitioner. And for that, I'm going to choose a partitioner class, and that is a round robin class. I don't remember that class name. That's why I'm going to the documentation. Okay, so right here, let's just see the producer API. Okay, let me just choose something called partition partitioner class or something. One second guys. Yes, this is the thing I need. So in the producer there is something called a partitioner class. Let me copy that. Okay, where is my producer application? This is my producer application. I'm sending a property. You can send a property by using / producer property, or you can try with only property also, that will work. Then here I'll be define a key value pair. Partitioner.class is going to be my key, and the value will be, I'll be using a class called round robin partitioner. It is there inside this package, inside the Kafka jar. I'll be copy the complete qualified path and I'll paste it over here. And look at this. This is a round robin partitioner. Okay. Now, whenever I'll be sending my data, you can see the partitioner. This is called round robin partitioner. Okay. So now what will happen, whenever I'll be producing the data to this topic called test2, now I'm using the partitioner as a round robin partitioner. So at least what I want to show you that whenever I'm streaming the data, it should go to one partition, then next partition, then the next partition. Then I can stream data to each partitions. Okay. And I can show you visually. So let's just see that whether I can do that. And let me go over here. Let me create this producer right now. Let's just do an enter. Okay. Okay. So now my producer is ready and I think I can able to stream data. Let's just stream data to this topic, and this consumer is already consuming from the same topic called test2. and here also we are producing the data to test 2 only, no? Yeah, test 2 only, right? So let me just send some data. Let's say January. Which partition it went? See, now it went to the partitioner 1, right? Let me just use partition 1. Now let me use February. It went to partition 2. Now let me use March. It went to partition 0. Now let me use April. It went to partition 1. April, May, June. It's working, right? In a round robin fashion, I'm able to stream the data to different partitions inside the topic called test2. Now I have the test2 topic. Inside the test2, I have different partitions like partition 0, partition 1, partition 2. I have 3 topics, and you can see all my topics are right now receiving the data whenever I'm streaming the data to that topic using the producer. Okay, using a Kafka producer right now. Now using a Kafka console producer, I'm able to stream data to a specific topic in a round robin fashion. And you can see that happening right now, just the way I've shown you over here in the diagram. Is it making a little bit of sense right now, guys? Little bit, guys? Why you are so silent?
Yes, Ablash.
Thank you, Venu. Rakesh?
Yeah, Vilash.
Digna, okay. Chandrakant, questions? Madan, ask me. Matanki, if you have any questions.
One doubt, Flash. Where we using this Kafka?
Where we're using this Kafka?
Why it is required? Sending message.
Okay. Again, yeah, Digna, we'll be coming back to this. But we are using Kafka everywhere. Now again, I'm gonna deviate from the topic. I'll be coming back to this again. Tomorrow, first, I'll be running 10 minutes of slideshow where we are using Kafka and how this topic and all these things can be used in real time. But I have given you an example, a train example, right? Imagine lot of trains are moving from different location. They all are streaming data, right?
In our Java project, we will configure this. Is
Exactly.
it so?
Exactly.
Okay.
This producer will be your Java application, right?
Okay.
That will
Okay.
stream
Good.
data. Basically, if you're thinking about that train example, Digna, think like this. Imagine you have a lot. One second. Control C, Control V. Okay. Think there are a lot of trains moving. This is train 1. Okay. And this is train 2. Okay. This is train 3. Okay. Like that, we have a lot of trains. Now, all the trains will have GPS, right? You know, like if you want to go, like if you're not using, let's say if you're using trains to reach a destination, you can check where the train, what is the last location of the train, what is the real-time location of a train. You can track, right? Using some applications, remember? Now, how that particular thing is happening? Imagine you have a lot of trains. Now, all the trains will have some GPS, right? All the train will stream the data right now. Stream the data to where? Stream the data to a Kafka broker, okay? Maybe they will not directly stream the data to the Kafka broker because the GPS cannot directly, GPS is not an application. This is just a electronics device. But what basically happens is, imagine all this train will transfer the data to some embedded system like a IoT device, right? Something like this in real time. Here we have something like this. This is going to be a IoT device, okay? And this IoT device will be keep on pushing all the data of the train to the Kafka server, okay? And all this data, like train 1 is pushing data, okay, I reached in this location. Train 2 will transmit the data, like I reached in this location. Like this, all the train will send lot of data. In every minute they will update the data where they reached to the Kafka broker, right? So hundred and thousands of data and messages will be updated to the Kafka broker in real time. And then comes your application, like the application that you will be, imagine there is a topic inside this Kafka broker called, let's say, current location. Okay, current location. Okay, now all the trains are sending their current location to this topic, right? Now you have your application. You may have your, I'll tell you, okay, Digna, you write a application. So you will write a Java app, right? Their Java application will be keep on consuming the data from this topic, current location topic. Okay, tell me the train 101 reached in which location, or tell me all the last location of train number 101 giving the specific time. Let's say in 5 p.m. it reached that station, in 6 p.m. it reached that station. All the data I can keep patching in your Java application and can keep on populating that kind of information over here in a very broad way. Don't think much, Digna, otherwise if you're going to think how, then you will be confused. That thing we're going to be doing with the Java and Spring Boot application, Digna. Okay, I'm going to giving some examples, some much more detailed examples. Once I'm going to be giving you KT on these things, how basically it works, then we can see a broader picture. Is it making a little bit of sense, Digna?
Yes, Abhilash, somewhat okay.
Yeah, exactly. I know, somewhat okay, but yeah, I know that it doesn't make real sense. But yeah, we'll be coming back to this. But anyhow, that's it, guys. That's it for today. See you guys all tomorrow, and in the morning session, Spring Security. And for Kafka, I will take the next class day after tomorrow. That's it for today. Thank you very much, guys. Have a good day.
Thank you, Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.